Hey everyone, it's Thanksgiving in the United States this week, and I got an email from John YouTube saying that if I didn't make a video giving fragrance recommendations for it, they'd take my channel back, so stay tuned. Okay, so I've got 4 fragrances for you. I had more, but I pared it down because that was just too many. Let's be reasonable here. You don't need a top 10 of this. And realistically, I was kind of just looking through, trying to figure out what I'm going to wear. So you guys are part of that process. I think the number 1 is what I'm going to end up wearing, but I got a few options here for you. Well, 4 options exactly for you. And I've got a classy one, I think. I've got a fun one. I've got an inexpensive one that's still very good. And then, well, I've got 2 inexpensive ones that both smell very good. So let's do those. All right, to start off, I'll get this one out of the way because it's so good. And I think it's fitting, though this may end up being in another video in a month when I do a Christmas one, because it's probably gonna be what I wear for Christmas, and that's Tonka Cola from Mancera. I love this fragrance so much. This is absolutely one of my favorite fragrances in my collection. If you've seen my other video where I talk about it, I make that clear. I think this is so much fun. It's sweet, it's bright, it's citrusy, it's interesting in the cold. Like in the cold, it comes across as a little bit less warm, unsurprisingly maybe, but I do like this one. And when it's on your skin, it is very warm. It's this warm, spicy, sweet cherry cola sort of fragrance. Absolutely beautiful. If you haven't smelled it yet, get your nose on it. I haven't smelled the Paris Corner clone of it, but all the other stuff from Paris Corner I've smelled, I've really liked, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was good as well. That being said, this is Mancera, so it's not gonna be too crazy expensive. It's one of those ones where I feel weird about there being clones because, like, you're paying half the price, might as well just get the real thing. I think you should check this one out if you have the chance to get your nose on it. I blind bought it. It's one of my favorite blind buys. I immediately loved it. I'm a sucker for cola notes though. This one is elegant, fun. It's not like youthful though. It's still like, I think, something adults can wear. Oh, I love this one so much. Get your nose on it. All right, next up, we're gonna go with probably the least expensive one on the list. And depending on where you get it from, I think it's like double the price you find it for rack. Like if you go to a rack store, you'll find this a lot cheaper. And that's Tobacco and Tonka Bean from Banana Republic. This one to me is exactly what the label says, Tobacco Tonka Bean. There's also a plum note, which I like because the bottle's purple. The fragrance itself, I think is around $20, $24, something like that. I paid for 100 milliliters. And it is this like lightly sweet, soft kind of tobacco fragrance. Doesn't smell like Tom Ford, it's its own unique thing. I haven't smelled really anything that's like this. I think this one is also unisex, but it is such an like alluring, attractive scent. Not in like a date night way, though you could definitely wear this on a date night, but I think this would just come across as like one of those things where if other people around you at the dinner table catch whiffs, it'll blend in with the food that you're already eating, kind of that soft like dessert style thing going on. But it's just this beautiful, beautiful scent. Pretty linear, doesn't change a whole lot, though I will say with this one, this is one of those fragrances where I actually don't really want it to change. I love the way this smells already, and the opening to the finish, I think it's just gorgeous. Start to finish, this thing is really beautiful. Soft, a little bit fruity. No harsh edges on this one. This one is just a very welcoming fragrance. That's why I think it'd be good for Thanksgiving. So if you have a chance, I think this is like a great $20 blind buy. If you've smelled it, let me know. If you haven't, get your nose on it. All right, next up, I have what I consider to be the elegant choice. And the reason is because it's a fine French perfumer with a lot of history, and that is going to be L'Homme Idéal Extrême from Guerlain. There's a theme here because, again, this is another tobacco and plum fragrance, though this one also has a lot of heliotrope and almonds. So heliotrope is a kind of flower that can come across as a little bit almondy in fragrances. And so they actually did both. They put almond in here and put heliotrope in here. So you get this really kind of sweet, nutty, tobacco, plum fruitiness. This is also, this is my most complimented fragrance. I haven't gotten that many compliments, but that makes this one stand out. I think I've worn this out and about probably a dozen times. And there was one time where I was at a store, like getting clothes, and the cashier, he was like, hey, you probably have gotten this question. He wanted to know what it was, which was something because I'm sure he smells a lot. So this one stood out to him. He liked it a lot. The other one was when I was with my wife when she was doing adult gymnastics, and I was like filming her, and some woman kept making passes behind me. Finally, after the third one, she just goes, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be weird, but you smell so good. Which was really funny. Which my wife, she's kind of middling on fragrances, so anytime anyone thinks anything smells good, she's kind of like, what? So she saw that and she was like, are you kidding? But this is, I think, such an elegant scent. So take tobacco and tonka bean and class it way up. Not that that's not a classy fragrance, but this has elements that I can't really pinpoint that just make it feel like you should be sitting in a library in a smoking jacket with a cigar and making a lot of money. It smells like a rich person to me. This one's a really, really big hitter for me. Honestly, I said at the beginning that I was probably gonna wear the last one, and I may still, but every sniff I get of this makes me just want to wear it more and more. I love this one. And incidentally, I happened to pick up the Parfum, which subs out the Plum for Cherry, I think. Don't like that one nearly as much. This is so good, so good. If you haven't smelled anything from this line, I think this is where I started with it. I think it's the best one in the line from the two that I've smelled, but I'd like to get my nose on others. So check out L'Homme Idéal Extrême. All right, last up, this one is not gonna be a shock for anyone who's watched my videos, in particular, one that came out about a month ago, and that is Khamra from Lattafa. Now you may just say, hey, you just featured this a month ago. Yes, I did, but in my defense, I said this. It smells like Thanksgiving, it smells like Christmas. This is kind of the scent that I'll probably be wearing around Thanksgiving. It just feels like that to me. The reason that I featured this fragrance in that video, I was thinking specifically about Thanksgiving. I haven't smelled Angel Share before, so I can't tell you the quality comparison. So I'm just judging this on its own. But on its own, to me, this is such an interesting, fun fragrance that is Thanksgiving in a bottle to me. That's kind of what I think every time I smell it. You've got these dried fruits and the spices, the warmth. It just feels like a communally fun fragrance. I feel like this is kind of somehow splitting the difference between the fun of Tonka Cola, because I feel like Tonka Cola is mostly a fun fragrance. That's how I think of it. This to me strikes me as more of a little bit more elegant, kind of like the Guerlain, but it's still in between because it has a lot of syrupy sweetness, has a little bit of a boozy touch to it, and it lasts so long. This stuff lasts forever. This is probably one of my better performers. It'll certainly last all day, no sweat. You'll still be catching sweet whiffs as it goes, and if you're moving around at all and it warms up on your skin, it'll absolutely vaporize into the air and smells beautiful, absolutely beautiful in the air. Seriously, one of the most beautiful fragrances that I have. So if you haven't checked out Khamra from Lattafa, again, you can get it, I think its prices have gone up, but you can still probably get it for under 50 bucks unless you're getting on Amazon, where you're probably gonna have to pay like 60. But at 60 bucks, I don't think that's actually even still a bad deal. It's such a beautiful scent. I say check it out and let me know what you think. That's it, a quick one for you guys. I just kind of wanted to share those four with you. I think out of the four, it is probably going to end up being Khamra, but I don't know, I might do a last minute audible and go with the Guerlain just because it's my wife's family. They're a little bit more sensitive fragrances, and the Guerlain's maybe a little bit more subtle. So they might like that one. They might appreciate that one a little bit more. If I was with my family, maybe the Khamra would do better. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's it for this week. I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving, and thank you so much for spending time. Please leave a comment and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.